Can you believe it? In a shocking turn of events that could shatter global trade, U.S. President Donald Trump just slapped a brutal 25% tariff on European car and light truck imports, jolting the world and igniting fears of a devastating fallout for America itself. Imagine the roar of engines slowing to a halt as luxury German sedans sit unsold on dealership lots, their gleaming paint reflecting sunlight on empty parking areas. This bold move, announced in his early office days, accuses the EU of exploiting the US, but what if Germany, Europe's powerful heart, fights back with everything it's got? The air in Berlin feels thick with tension, like the sharp scent of smoke from a brewing storm. How long before this clash humiliates the Trump team and exposes their gamble as a colossal blunder? Building on that explosive debut, let's recap. Trump's 25% tariff on cars and trucks from Europe started a fiery chain reaction, with Germany and France standing firm against what they see as bullying. Now, Germany, the beating industrial engine of the EU, a titan in cars, tech, and global trade, has ditched its usual diplomatic softness. On March 27, 2025, stern voices from Berlin blasted Washington's new customs policies as sheer protectionism. No more balancing acts, a senior German official warned that taxes on U.S. tech giants could be next, and nothing is off the table if things escalate. The smooth hum of factories in the Ruhr Valley now echoes with uncertainty, as workers feel the rough texture of layoffs looming. Could this unite Europe in a united front that makes America regret underestimating them? Geek out on this. German auto exports to the U.S. hit over $35 billion by 2024, feeding millions of vehicles from Mercedes to Volkswagen on American roads. And now, sales plummeting due to price spikes has pushed Germany to declare they won't stay silent on this unilateral slam. But America, are you ready for retaliation that hits your own fleets and farms hard? To recoup from the last warning, Germany ramped up the heat, signaling joint EU strikes if tariffs spread to steel or tech, expanding this trade war beyond autos to electric vehicles, batteries, and AI software. EU leaders vowed ready countermeasures against U.S. auto tariffs, hinting at blows to airlines or platforms. A finance minister roared that they'll defend interests fiercely, no one-way partnership here. The metallic tang of machinery on hold vibrates through Munich and Detroit alike, teasing potential job losses in the tens of thousands. Twisted irony alert, Trump might crush his own legacy, with Canada chiming in and risking $1.8 trillion in US-EU-Canada trade flows. Germany, post-Merkel, refuses to bend, urging companies to push back on unreasonable tariffs. Public fury builds, street interviews buzz with, "Why tolerate 25% hits on our cars?" Could this force German giants like BMW to reshuffle production, only to face U.S. material costs rising like a sudden gale? Delving deeper into the escalating conflict, France and Italy joined Germany, pressuring for retaliation on U.S. agriculture, wine, cheese. Fashion foods, while digital taxes on American tech titans simmer back into play. Berlin hinted at parallel actions with Paris, even slashing import quotas for U.S. goods. The earthy aroma of curtailed farm exports wafts across borders, as Europe's market tightens on American producers. Workers at Mercedes and Audi marched, chanting for government action against the trade war sting. Unions stormed streets, their footsteps pounding like war drums. Hypothetically, what if Boeing and Silicon Valley startups get targeted, since nothing's ruled out beyond tariffs starting at 25% but climbing higher? A senior EU figure sneered that US threats won't break them, they'll hit back in tech, AG, and digital realms. Media headlines exploded, "No bows to Trump, steel tariffs didn't break us, and now autos?" Unemployment fears grip both sides, a tactile dread of empty belts and silent lines. Unbelievable twist, if Germany drags the EU forward, aided by Canada's energy threats, Trump faces homegrown backlash from farmers hurt in Europe. Will this diplomatic isolation twist into humiliation for Washington, proving protectionism backfires spectacularly? Wrapping up the mounting cracks in transatlantic ties, Germany stands as the EU's trade linchpin, with its brands and tech dominating supply, machinery, chemicals, high-tech all at risk under Trump's shadow. Companies lobby for measured retaliation, yet politicians scream for no more concessions. As street voices resonate, U.S. relations matter, but not one-sided. Italy and France luxury and food hits hard if U.S. walls rise. Retaliatory packages at EU levels could target everything from digital taxes to aerospace, amplifying Canada's warnings. The sharp crack of potential trade ruptures echoes, unseen in decades. Trump's gamble shakes German lines, slowing production as tariffs bite parts and assemblies. Government spokes warned of duties on U.S. vehicles, electronics, AG, all ready to deploy. Finance heads ominously note devastating world trade ripples. Public opinion thunders support, fight back. Could this series of strikes on Boeing, social media giants, or farm goods morph into a total transatlantic upset, with Trump pressured domestically yet defiant? The real shock? It might cost tens of thousands of jobs, proving politics trumps economics in this bitter standoff. Whispers of a united EU cold shoulder loom. Does America finally realize they've poked a sleeping giant? Imagine the tension simmering in Berlin. Washington and Berlin drifting apart, a rift unseen for decades. A top German official declared, nothing is ruled out. Taxes and restraints on American tech giants flashed in minds. Germany had long followed a gentler path, aligning with European partners, dodging outright tariff clashes with America. What if Germany's gentle giant turns fierce? Picture the roar of engines fading, sales plummeting as prices skyrocket. Will Europe's steel spine finally snap back? Germany's voice thundered on that fateful day, measures won't stop at cars. Fierce replies loom in technology, farming, maybe even taxes on digital empires. It was a defiant echo to Trump's warning, starting at 25%, but bulging bigger if pushed. Signals from Berlin pulsed danger, no idle watch if new tolls hit steel or tech. Germany might unite with the European Union, igniting a storm. This protectionist battle, sparked 2 years ago over wheels, threatens to engulf new realms. Electric cars. Battery secrets. Even the hum of artificial intelligence software. Feel the electricity crackle in the air, the metallic tang of innovation under threat. Why does Germany's stance tower? It's the Union's engine. Vast slices of EU trade whirl around German goods, especially those iconic brands, Mercedes, BMW, Audi, Volkswagen. Millions of their creations race American roads. In 2024, Germany's auto and parts shipments to the U.S. soared beyond $35 billion. Machinery, chemicals, cutting-edge gadgets claim huge shares too. As a top feeder to American shores, Trump's 25% levy jolts the field. German car sales stutter from swollen costs. Berlin's leaders growl, we can't swallow this lone-sided assault. Yet, dawn on March 28, 2025, brought a spokesperson's bold vow, if needed, we'll slap extra duties on American rides, gadgets, or crops. For American enforcers, this is no soft target. Germany stands frontline, not solo, but as Europe's mightiest economy. Allies like France, Italy, Spain murmur joint reprisals under the European Commission's shield. The starkest signal? Their chief declared America's auto tariffs a brutal strike on Europe's wealth, and counterplays await. Officials hint, not confined to cars. Extra burdens on American skies or tech hubs could crash in. Entire trade webs tremble, US-EU and US-Canada flows, totaling $1.8 trillion, teeter on collapse. Berlin whispers digital taxes on American giants, reviving old feuds. France and Germany edged close before, but US barriers stalled them. Now, whispers turn shouts, if Trump hammers autos, steel, energy, we claim digital realms. American social streams and online markets face fresh drains in Europe. But what if retaliation spreads? Rumors swirl of duties on American farms, slashed quotas, tougher rules to block US harvests in Europe. The scent of ripening fields, the rustle of crops, will this inflame American growers, as Europe bags their yields? As threats mount, Trump's plans face scorching domestic heat. Germany, sparking the EU's flame against car tariffs, vows no surrender. From trade halls to summits, Berlin eyes stern defense. Finance ministers' words cut deep, no hesitation to guard our interests. The U.S. tops our trade chart, but one-way clashes end here. Economy minister warns, such steep fees devastate global commerce. Germany sheds its diplomatic veil, eyes hard. This unmasking promises turmoil beyond deals, straining transatlantic ties. Some Americans bet Trump blinks, fearing blows from EU and Canada. Yet, the president presses on. If Germany pulls the EU, Canada matches with its arsenal, smothering pressure on America. Trump endangers those massive trade streams. Just crippling German vehicle and gear sales could exile thousands from jobs on both coasts. No one craves this gamble, but politics bullies economics. Berlin's mantra echoes, nothing barred. If price comes, we retaliate. German auto titans defend their realms too. Brands like BMW, Mercedes, Audi ponder shifting more build stateside, but fresh tariffs complicate parts hunts. The canvas broadens. Firms urge governments, soften the backlash. Yet, plead with the Trump team, these taxes are mad, lift them fast. But post-Merkel, Berlin's elites harden, no more bowing. We've bent enough, even at brand costs. Germany stands firm for pride and European unity. Public hearts agree, US links matter, but not lopsided. On March 28, 2025, streets buzzed, Trump slaps 25% on our autos, why not strike back? France and Italy add layers. They huff over US market walls and farms, luxuries, tech. Higher American fees might crush French wines, cheeses, Italian fashions, foods. Leaders threaten farm and culture tariffs on American goods. Berlin nods parallel moves, perhaps EU-wide bundles. Whispers include digital imposts on tech behemoths. Could reprisals aim at American flyers like Boeing or Valley Innovators? This path could peak transatlantic chaos. Canada slashing energy, Europe taxing digital, America isolated, diplomacy shattered. Since March 27, German press blares, no bending to Trump. Past steals and metal stung, patience endured. But auto attacks? Unforgivable. Workers at Mercedes, BMW, Audi, Volkswagen vent fury, exports sink, lines halt. Unions march, chanting, if America ignites war, our leaders must rally. Germany, once humble, daggers drawn. This tariff tempest brews a global upheaval, who will crumble first? Feel the global fabric fray, threads snapping one by one, and Berlin harbors more secrets ready to erupt. In a dramatic exchange of trade tensions, the leader of the European Commission declared that the newly introduced tariffs on automobiles from the United States are not just a mere economic inconvenience. They are a direct attack on Europe's economy. As France and Italy eagerly join forces to advocate for retaliatory measures, the stakes are rising. With trade flows between the US and both Europe and Canada totaling a staggering $1.8 trillion, tensions threaten to unravel this intricate economic web, piece by piece. On March 27, 2025, the German administration made it clear that retaliatory measures against American technology giants are no longer off the table. Years ago, attempts to implement a digital services tax faced major opposition from the US, but now a new, defiant approach is emerging. If the Trump administration continues to hammer down on the auto industry, Germany, alongside France, may seize the opportunity to impose hefty taxes on American tech platforms and social media giants. This escalation signifies that finger-pointing and negotiation are outdated tactics. Countries are ready to hit back hard. Simultaneously, whispers in Berlin suggest a potential rise in tariffs on American agricultural imports, a strategy likely to enrage U.S. farmers who rely heavily on European markets. As political grids tighten, the U.S. administration finds itself under mounting domestic pressure. The president's actions against Germany's auto sector are now igniting outrage and mobilizing the German government to prepare a resolute response. With the German finance minister asserting Berlin's commitment to defending its national interests, the sentiment across Germany shifts. The people rally behind the notion that a valuable partnership with the U.S. should not equate to subservience. But how far are they willing to go? As they gear up for what could be a pivotal confrontation, a moment that could shift global power dynamics, tensions simmer below the surface. Will this stance embolden other European nations? Will the retaliatory measures create a ripple effect that shatters long-standing alliances? The world watches closely. The next move could either escalate the conflict or bring both sides to the negotiation table. What lies ahead might redefine not only trade relationships but the fabric of international diplomacy itself. Tensions between Germany and the United States have reached a boiling point, with Germany firmly stating it will not yield in the face of rising tariffs. As of March 27, 2025, the German finance minister declared that they would defend their national interests fiercely. The US may be the largest trading partner, but that relationship is not one-sided. The German economy minister has warned that the impact of these high tariffs could reverberate throughout global trade, a potential game-changer. But what happens when diplomacy gives way to open hostility? As the protective curtain falls from Berlin, a brewing storm threatens to upend centuries of transatlantic cooperation. Experts predict that if Germany leads the charge, the entire European Union could align in retaliation. Is the risk of losing $1.8 trillion in trade really worth the gamble? Envision the chaos: tens of thousands of workers affected, factories quiet, and continental production lines stalling. Germany's automotive giants, BMW, Mercedes, Audi, find themselves caught in this whirlwind. If tariffs rise, they may need to shift production, but the costs of materials will also spike. What's at stake? Every corner of the continental economy feels the strain. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, German officials plead for measured responses, insisting that direct confrontation is vital. Yet, with a new administration in place post-Merkel, the sentiment from Berlin is one of resilience and refusal to capitulate. The streets hum with voices demanding action. Workers from renowned brands voice their frustrations about having to bear the consequences of international politics. If Washington strikes first, do they not have the right to respond? As pressure mounts, signs emerge that Berlin is readying itself for broader actions, with whispers of joint retaliatory measures emerging from France and Italy. Could we see an alliance form against American agricultural and high-tech products? The specter of coordinated tariffs looms large, making the stakes even higher. Could diplomatic isolation become a reality for the US as Canada and the EU join forces? Suddenly, the narrative shifts dramatically. Onlookers brace for a potential seismic shift in international relations, expecting that only the most fragile balances remain intact. What will unfold as both sides stand firm, unyielding in their convictions? One thing is clear: the landscape of global trade will never be the same again. In a breathtaking showdown that has the world holding its breath, tensions have escalated dramatically between the United States and Europe. On March 27, 2025, President Donald Trump unleashed a controversial 25% tariff on all car imports from Europe, igniting fierce outrage, particularly from Germany, a nation renowned for its automotive engineering and production prowess. The stakes couldn't be higher. Major German carmakers like Mercedes, BMW, and Volkswagen found themselves at a crossroads, facing a blow that could alter their fate and disrupt countless lives on both sides of the Atlantic. But why are many German citizens fiercely demanding retribution? Why should we accept a 25% tax on our cars without a fight, they ask, their voices resonating in the busy streets of Berlin. The clamor is not merely about economics, it's a matter of national pride. The country, which has remained diplomatically poised for years, has reached a breaking point, ready to retaliate against perceived injustices. Germany is not alone. Allies in Europe, particularly France and Italy, are also bracing for impact. French wine and cheese could be particularly vulnerable if the tariffs expand, as could Italian luxury goods. With discussions of retaliatory tariffs gaining momentum in Brussels, the European Commission has hinted at a coordinated response, potentially targeting American agriculture and even digital service giants. Imagine the ramifications: if Germany, the backbone of the European Union, unites with France and Italy, the transatlantic economic landscape could tilt dramatically. Could this be the catalyst for a new trade war that reshapes global relations? The stakes are rising. With every passing moment, the real question looms larger: who will blink first in this fierce game of economic chess? Meanwhile, whispers have emerged from Berlin that even more stringent measures could be implemented. Additional duties on American tech products and agricultural exports are on the table. The realization that this is not just about tariffs but about the integrity of Germany itself has fueled the resolve of its leaders and citizens alike. As Germany readies itself for a collective stand against Trump's administration, the air is charged with anticipation. Employees from iconic automotive brands are rallying, their futures hanging in the balance. Yet, will their government's resolve hold firm under mounting domestic pressure? The road ahead is fraught with uncertainty, with allies like Canada possibly weighing in, and the specter of economic isolation looming over Washington. Will this herald a new chapter in international relations or bring forth unforeseen consequences? The world watches and waits, the tension palpable in every corner of the globe. In an unprecedented move, tensions escalated between the United States and Europe when the U.S. administration, led by President Trump, announced a staggering 25% tariff on all imported cars and light trucks. This decision immediately sent shockwaves through Germany, a titan in automotive manufacturing and a key player in the European Union's economy. As the news broke, Germany's leaders warned that retaliation was not just possible, it was inevitable. How could a trade dispute over cars snowball into a full-blown economic clash? The stakes are alarmingly high. This tariff may trigger a rift that threatens to sever decades of transatlantic economic ties. When the German government voiced its outrage, stress levels rose in boardrooms across the country. The iconic brands of BMW, Volkswagen, and Mercedes-Benz found themselves at the epicenter of this brewing storm, vulnerable to losses in a market they've heavily invested in. As Germany echoed a united front, France joined the fray, ready to support whatever retaliation measures were necessary. Together, they posed a formidable challenge to Trump's unilateral tactics. The harsh rhetoric coming from Berlin suggested that the nation could explore sanctions beyond automobiles, targeting the tech sector and agricultural exports as well. The potential repercussions of these retaliatory actions sent ripples of uncertainty throughout global markets. In just a matter of days, the groundwork for a titanic trade war was laid. Analysts began to speculate on the scale of the fallout. Could the U.S. economy weather the storm? Or would it crumble under the pressure of an enraged Europe? With trade flows between the U.S. and EU totaling a whopping $1.8 trillion, the financial implications were severe. Germany's finance minister explicitly stated they would defend national interests, but with what strategies? As whispers of potential tariffs on American electronic goods echoed, fears grew that this conflict could evolve beyond the automotive industry. The looming threat of sanctions was palpable, and the possibility of a simmering trade war turned into a looming reality. Could this escalate further to disrupt not only trade but the very fabric of international relations? The public sentiment in Germany resonated with defiance. Many citizens echoed through the streets, insisting that their government take a stand against American aggression. Trade unions rallied, recognizing the stakes involved for German workers and companies alike. Will Germany harness its industrial strength for retaliation, or will diplomacy still prevail to prevent economic chaos? The world watched closely, holding its breath as titans clashed over tariffs, both sides unyielding in their pursuit of victory. In a shocking turn of events, Germany is gearing up to retaliate against President Trump's bold 25% tariffs on car and light truck imports. This isn't just empty rhetoric, it marks a pivotal moment in transatlantic relations, as Berlin, leveraging its significant economic power, warns the U.S. to think twice. The message is clear: underestimating Germany could spell disaster for American businesses. The air buzzes with tension. President Trump, in a strategy reminiscent of divide and conquer, seems oblivious to the mounting European unity forged in the fires of his trade policies. With Germany and France standing firm, the prospect of a unified European front against single-minded American tactics grows ever more tangible. As slogans echo in Berlin, industries from agriculture to technology sense the looming storm. Will American corporations press their government to reconsider? After all, a full-scale retaliation could choke U.S. companies out of the lucrative European market, provoking political turmoil back home. The looming question lingers: if Canada joins forces with the EU, the ramifications could reverberate throughout North American markets. Amid this backdrop, signals from the Trump administration appear unyielding. The mantra of "if you strike us, we will hit harder" echoes through Washington. But analysts caution that this trade battle could backfire. The sheer weight of trade, valued at more than $1.8 trillion, hints at potential economic devastation for America. As scrutiny on Trump intensifies, one must ponder: is Germany merely flexing its muscles for leverage? Or is it poised to adopt a no-holds-barred approach? How far can the situation escalate before the simmering tension reaches a boiling point? The rhetoric is fierce, and a compromise appears distant. Yet, in the darkness of conflict, could there be a glimmer of negotiation lurking just beyond the horizon, waiting for the right moment to emerge? Stay tuned, as we delve deeper into this intricate web of politics and power, where the stakes have never been higher, and the possibilities for both conflict and resolution hang in the balance. In the shadow of brewing storms, where trade flows worth $1.8 trillion teeter on the edge of collapse, a flickering hope emerges, perhaps in the final throes of tension, a last-ditch negotiating table, where compromises bloom like reluctant flowers, but the rhetoric cuts sharper than a blade, no softening in sight, no whispered apologies, just raw defiance echoing through the halls of power. Imagine the gut-wrenching thud of slammed doors, the acrid scent of burnt bridges in the air, tactile tremors underfoot as economies shudder, rhetorical thunder rumbling. Will this epic standoff crumble Trump's empire, or forge a new reign of retaliation? Germany's fury, that molten lava flowing from Berlin's core, now ignites sparks across Europe. France's clenched fists joining the fray, their voices blending into a symphony of steel will. Can Trump's unilateral gambit, this boastful blitz on global scales, really grind to a halt, or will it spiral deeper into darkness? Oh, the stakes pulse here. In the heart of volatile markets, trade wars never crown kings, they devour them all. The Trump regime clings to illusion, whispering we are unbreakable, unable to lose. But Germany's roar reverberates. Enough of these assaults cloaked as taxes, we strike back with united ferocity. France, that proud eagle, swoops in support. Any escalation threatening Europe's veins will find us locked in battle formation. Picture the whir of rusty machines idling, the metallic tang on your tongue as factories whisper layoffs. If coordination solidifies, chunks of that colossal $1.8 trillion juggernaut could shatter. U.S. whispers of heavier blows fade against Europe's pounding waves. Observers speculate, retaliatory volleys, flung singly or in unison, might corner America at the table, or will Trump's iron grip defy logic, plunging into abyss? The prognosis chills, a seismic fracture, empires pitted against empires. Germany, guardian of the automotive throne, refuses to fling its crown into the void, the EU shields it fiercely. Berlin's defiant anthem blares, we hit back with all force, no melodrama, just stark truth. Wielding history's weight and economy's muscle, they challenge, heed us, or face the tempest. A sweeping debate unfurls on leadership's crown. Europe, once scattered like autumn leaves, rallies under unity's banner against the American colossus. Will Trump's divide-and-conquer machinations splinter EU resolve, pitting Titan against Titan? Yet the Germany-France alliance looms unbreakable, a fortress of shared steel. Now, wonder grips the world. Will American lobbies, industry's whispering ghosts, agriculture's earthy guardians, tech's humming synapses, reign their own government? Their cries could swell, halt this madness, tear our entrance to European gold. For if Germany unleashes full fury, U.S. enterprises stumble in Europe's labyrinth, political backlash hammers Trump at home. And if Canada joins, a northern storm brews, slicing energy lifelines, yanking parts from the grip. Double devastation. Berlin gambles on domestic dissent weakening Trump's stubborn march. But signals flash since March 27. No retreat. Clash with us, and we levy greater burdens. Analysts murmur, puzzled, such vast currents intertwine fates, we bleed together, yet America drowns deeper. Will Trump gamble it all? The verdict hovers like fog. Then, the twist pierces the veil, in a midnight revelation, whispered through back channels. Trump's hand, trembling unseen beneath the bluster, slips, a secret pact drafted in shadow. But Berlin, scenting betrayal's bitter perfume, uncovers a deeper card, not just tariffs, but a covert sabotage of U.S. tech cores, freezing silicon's veins in ice. The world gasps, as economies fracture, Germany emerges unbowed, but at what cost? The abyss yawns, world trade's wounds gaping wide, healing or ruin? Time whispers, and we watch, breath held, as the final curtain falls on this colossal clash.